and we about to do it.
TikTok
Watch
is
us
a
get
little
into
behind the
it.
scenes.
We some lumberjacks, and we needin' wood. Yeah, we going for the sweet, and we mop it up. We put it all on the block, and then we chop it up, 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 chop it up. We put it all on the block, and then we chop it up.
Well, it's Wednesday night, and we've already went live just a couple minutes ago, but we didn't realize we wasn't live on YouTube. So now we're live on all platforms. This is the Chopping Block Podcast, presented by DJ's Clam Shack down here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. I call it home presently, but maybe in a couple months it might not be home. We'll be moving away to bigger and brighter things. But for tonight, it's Wednesday night. The Chopping Block Podcast brings you the NFL show hosted by Beastie Kane. TikTok's been waiting for us. Go ahead and get us started on YouTube, Barry.
Hey, look, Tyreek, it's a cupcake. I know y'all remember the slide. We said it all year. Dolphins, all they do is eat on cupcakes. And look at the boys down at the bottom. They met up with them again. And Tyreek, he had this huge game plan. We're going to go into the Chiefs. I forget what the weather was in this game, but it was cold. And them South Beach boys, that plan failed, and it failed quick. Were you guys more impressed with the Chiefs or more disappointed in the Dolphins? What's up, Havoc?
I gotta say, I'm more disappointed with the Dolphins. I mean, the Chiefs have we've both watched them win. We've all watched them win 2 Super Bowls, so they've been there, done that. Now the Dolphins. I mean, you couldn't have said it better, Barry. The South Beach boys, Tua cannot play in the cold. I mean, this is obvious. The touchdown he threw to Tyreek Hill, guys. I mean, we all saw it. That ball died, and Tyreek had to come back about 2 yards. Catch the pass, juke out 2 defenders, and score, where if Tua would have had enough arm strength or been able to throw in cold conditions, he could have hit him in stride for an easy touchdown, like Mahomes probably would have. And that was the difference in the game. The wind affected the Dolphins' passing game. Very obvious. If Tua had a better arm for the weather conditions, he could have made some of the throws, but he didn't. And that's the world we live in. When you draft a quarterback, you have to take all these things into consideration. Can they play in cold weather? Because you're not going to make a Super Bowl without going to play in the cold. It's just not going to happen. On both conferences, at some point, you have to play in the cold. And until Tua proves he can do that, he's going to be labeled as a warm weather quarterback by me.
Hey, I couldn't say it any better, man. And you're right. Those balls were just, I don't know. I don't know if it was the arm or the processing, but I know Coach is going to talk to me about it. What's up, Coach?
Well, for all my Dennis Green fans and all my Roland Martin fans. So Dennis Green, Roland Martin was a professional fisherman. So when I look at this slide, knowing that it's a slide from before, I say they are who we thought they were. And in Roland Martin's book, and the Chiefs set the hook and landed that dolphin. The bottom line is exactly like Havoc said. You can't take a team from Florida and put them in that kind of weather. Not only can you not put them in that kind of weather, you can't put them in that kind of weather with the team who is above 500, because if it was 99 degrees, they still would have gotten beat. Now, everybody, always talk about Tua is this and Tua is that. He's a left-handed quarterback. That automatically gives him an advantage because his launching points are different, his ball spins different, all his progression is opposite of what most teams are used to. When you're on the defensive side of the ball and you got a right-handed quarterback, that left corner knows and that safety knows that that quarterback is looking this away, and progression is going to go across the field. But the guy that's on the right side, the backside corner, he's the last choice. But in Tua's game, it's the first choice. But another thing about Tua is his arm strength on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 4.2.
Mm.
Because when you get into cold weather, that ball gets a lot heavier. It gets a lot slicker. And it's like he was throwing a medicine ball the whole ball game. He just couldn't get it there. So the bottom line is I'm more impressed with the Chiefs because they finally put a football game together. And like I said, the Dolphins, they're exactly who I thought they were.
That's really a great way to put it too. You know, you tie them both in together. I mean, they were who we thought they were, and the Chief did manage. It was at home. You don't get the Lombardi for it, but at least you had one, semblance of a wide receiver that would catch the ball and help Mahomes out. And I know Dalton hate to hear that, but hey, it's just true. The man had his receivers dropped more balls than anybody in the league, man. Not for that, we might be seeing the Chiefs as the number 1 seed. So I was certainly impressed to see a few things. Rice catching the ball, Pacheco running the ball, and Taylor Swift swagging and surfing. All that put together equal a Chief win. Talk to me, Dalton. I know this hurting you, baby.
Well, I'll get more on how I feel a little bit later, but how I'll start this is I will soon tell you that we will soon, and I mean very soon, it will probably start. I don't know if this game starts on Saturday or Sunday, but I'll tell you, by God, this weekend, the Taylor Swift Cry Me a River tour will start this weekend, and you will see it. You will see it live on television in the booth. And if they don't show her ass crying, I will be so disappointed because we've waited all year. So this might, we talk about the Kelsey brother retiring. This might be the end of this relationship as well after a loss here. And it's going to be in stunning fashion. I have the Bills by 10 or more. And let's just face it. Last week, I was a crystal ball himself. So if now I will say this, when I was doing this show last Wednesday, I had different thoughts. So we'll wait till Friday night because I did change some picks. I guess I wised up, as they say. But I don't know, man. I think this is one of those things. I'll tell you what I think about this game. I think this is more about not the Dolphins. It's more about Tua. The Dolphins, in my opinion, despite the injuries, me and Havoc were actually watching this game together for a little bit. All of us thought the same thing that was watching this, where we were at. Even Dolphin fans. I think it was 3 Dolphin fans there. They kind of figured that Tua wouldn't do well in cold weather and he would struggle, and he did. Like you said, Coach, they were who we thought they were. And this is nothing about cold weather and it being a South Florida team.
Thank you.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, and I believe they had to play some cold games there late, and they did it. So I don't know. I think this is more about Tua, and I think that the Dolphins, if they want to do more, they're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to keep losing first rounds and do it with Tua, or do you want to win a Super Bowl and do it with, in my honest opinion, you put a Josh Allen on the Dolphins, champs. You put somebody that is just above Tua, they're champs. That's just how I feel. But that's how I'll end it.
You know what, man? I totally agree. we've been hearing all the time how great Tua is.
One thing on what he said, Barry. He said that you can't blame it on it being a team from the South or from Florida being able to win in cold weather. You got to understand that Bucks team that went to Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers had Tom Brady, who was from New England, who already had ice in his shoes. So that don't count.
And you know what, man? And here's the thing. Tua is probably be asking for more money than Tom Brady was making when he won that Super Bowl.
Oh, way more. Yeah.
Okay.
Very.
So think about that. And I understand people will say, well, that's just the market. The market's going to go up.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, I'm sorry.
It does. But Tom Brady would be the one guy in this market that took lower pay to make his team better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just saying, when you think about Miami, and this is one of the things I wanted to say on this slide, Miami has a big decision to make, guys, about Tua.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sweep this thing up under the rug no more. You can't. I'm starting to see Tyreek getting more dinged up too. Listen, now, there's not a lot of Tyreek Hills in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill is taking the top off of everybody. They say, okay, he can still play a little bit without Tyreek. Okay. I'd rather have Tyreek, and my chances of winning Super Bowls or winning in general with Tyreek goes up a whole lot higher than anything else. So just imagine a situation you give Tua $300 million. Tyreek is not in Miami anymore. I think that would go down as one of the most horrible contracts in the history of football when you have to solely depend on number one.
I'll be honest with you, Barry.
Where you say have it?
They can franchise him.
What I'm saying, eventually, see, we still sweeping it up under the rug. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking about eventually you got to make a decision on this guy.
Hey, true. I agree with you, Barry. Like you said, have it. You can franchise them. But here's what I'm thinking: when you say $50 million, $50 million or whatever, I'm thinking, James Carter, Detective James Carter on Rush Hour, $50 million. Who they think they got? Justin Clinton. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. $50 million for Tua Tagovailoa. Get out of here. I wouldn't give him $5 million. Take your losses right here. And because let's be honest, you put him on any other team, he ain't doing nothing.
Doctor, I'm going to end this slide on this right here, dude. I don't know if it's true. I think it is. There was a video about this. Do you know the last thing that Tua did when he was on the field after that loss? One and done. He asked Mahomes for his jersey.
No, he didn't. Oh,
yeah.
Asked Mahomes for his jersey.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Got caught
on and I got one more. I think Mahomes' reply was, Tyreek already asked for
it. No.
It said, but I'll get you one.
No. But I'll get you one.
It was on the hot mic.
Dude, you're not going to recover from that. You're not going to recover.
No, not at all.
That right there
I'm so disappointed to hear that, Barry. I had no clue until you just said that. I had no idea.
He'll be his damn backup next year.
I'm just saying, man, like, I got to believe that's a problem.
Yeah, you just kicked my ass. Hey, let me wear your jersey. Yeah,
that's cool. Let me get your jersey. No.
Oh, that's whack, man.
I can see if that was like a regular season game, even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A one and done playoff performance? No, that's just not going to work.
Yeah, he looked too happy after a loss, Barry. I just have one more thing about Tua. Now, do you guys see why Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert so badly?
And he got fired, right? Mm-hmm. And guess what? Think about Carolina. They didn't want Bryce. The coach wanted Stroud. And guess what? They fired him. What's up with these Alabama quarterbacks getting all these coaches fired? Some gotta give. Hey man, it's time for me to give this man right here on this slide his due. I have not been a fan of this guy. I even seen somebody sent me my son-in-law sent me a picture today that had all of the black quarterbacks and Baker Mayfield on there, and said they say we in good hands. We got 5 black quarterbacks in the playoffs right now. I said we don't take Baker. We don't take Baker Mayfield. We'll bring him on into the culture. But guys, did the Eagles not get served by the Bucks? Listen, Baker Mayfield was rolling, dog. I'm shocked at the resurgence of this man's career. Dalton called this. I laughed at him about like the coach, and Havoc laughed at me about the Broncos going over there and serving up some wins. I got to eat my crow, just like the Buccaneers ate them Eagles. Dalton, what is going on? Look at this picture. Baker Mayfield. He got Jalen Head Hurts right there on the block. Oh, Lord, this is another quarterback. What's going on?
So I'll be honest, until you said that, I really thought that was Chef Boyardee. I had to look a little bit closer. But, hey, Baker Mayfield was cooking them like Chef Boyardee this weekend. Let's be honest. It was SpaghettiOs all on defense because there was holes everywhere. Holes and meatballs, you know. Like you said, I called it at the beginning of the year. And the reason I called it is just made sense. Like the guy had the same team that won a Super Bowl, had all their weapons on offense, realistically, except for Leonard Fournette. And I think that Baker Mayfield has always been better than what people give him credit. And I think it's because of his attitude in college. He was kind of an ass, you know. So it's easy to hate a guy like that, not give a guy like that chances. And he didn't play very well that year with the Panthers. But, I mean, my God, it doesn't seem like anybody can play well with the Panthers. So I think this is just perfect, the scenario. And I called him to win the game. Now, I'll be honest. I did not say it was going to – I think I picked it 24-20. And there for a while, I thought it was going to be that close. But, you know, I think to give Jalen Hurts credit, he was hurt. His finger was put on backwards, the week before, and it was ugly. And that's on the throwing hand. You know, I knew they wasn't going to be able to really attack the Buccaneers deep, and they were going to have to try to beat them otherwise. But to me, they didn't use DeAndre Swift or try to use him as much as they should have with a hurt quarterback. And I think they should have put the ball in Hurts's hands, but let him run a little bit more, because that's going to open up a little bit more, maybe some short slant routes. They couldn't get anything going on offense, and I know a lot of people are calling for Sirianni's head. Some guy threw his whole popcorn out on Sirianni as he's walking to the locker room after the game.
Oh, wow.
And he was still pissed off, so he threw the popcorn bucket at him. And so not only did he waste his whole popcorn, he threw the bucket at him. You know, no souvenir, and he spent a night in jail. They arrested him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they hawked him down, took him to jail. But I don't know. This is just a piss poor ending. Think about it. You lose 6 out of 7. You were 10-1, and you finish 11-7. It is a catastrophic ending to what was just a Super Bowl team the year before. And you kind of see stuff like this happen. You saw it with the Panthers one year. You saw it with the Seahawks the first go around after they went to the Super Bowl. Some of these teams, when they make it to the Super Bowl, they fall off the next year. And I think, unfortunately, as talented as they are, people are figuring them out on defense, and the offense is just not good enough to score for some reason. So this team's got to go back to the building blocks and figure it out. I think for the most part, the whole team should stay. The quarterback should stay the same. I think you give Sirianni another chance, one more year. If not, you got to make a splash hire. But I think you just stick with him.
You know, Philadelphia, they don't mind getting rid of a coach. You know, but I tend to
Super
agree.
Bowl winning coaches too, Barry.
Right. They get rowdy up there in Philly, man. You know, but you know, to your point though, you know, I do believe that Sirianni deserves another year. I think he also rubs people the wrong way. He's got his own little thing that comes across kind of corny and arrogant, and sometimes we don't like that from our coaches. You may recall he was doing something and Jalen Hurts grabbed him and pulled his arm back down. That was interesting to have your player, the leader of your team, have to tell the coach how to act. So what do you think about this happening?
Wow, where do I start? I mean, first of all, I want to give Baker Mayfield a ton of credit. I didn't expect him to play this way for Tampa. I was one of the few that thought Kyle Trask deserved to start because of how he played in the preseason. And Kyle Trask, that's another debate for another day. But Baker Mayfield has solidified himself as the starter, and kudos to him for winning this game. Now, the Eagles definitely got served, and that's the bigger story to me. Steve said it, 10-1 and lost 6 of the last 7 games. To me, that's a big collapse, especially with all the talent they've got. Now, I understand Jalen broke his finger and probably shouldn't have been playing. But, I mean, they had other issues that was just coaching. Steve said it before, not utilizing DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's a very talented running back, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to just figure out ways to get him the ball. Last year, remember the Eagles had a historic offense, and Jalen Hurts had a great year. Well, their offensive coordinator took the job for the Indianapolis Colts this year. So they lost their primary play caller. I think that hurt the Eagles a lot because this year Nick Sirianni was forced to call plays. And, I mean, Barry, you kind of said it. Nick Sirianni's not going to fool anyone for a genius. I mean, he's just not. He's more of a Jersey Shore type of coach than an X's and O's type of coach.
Right.
And that worked last year, but we saw how it worked this year. 6 out of your last 7. I'm not saying get rid of him this year, but he needs to start on the hot seat next season because Philadelphia, that's a talented roster. I will give him this. A.J. Brown missed the game. He was injured or whatever we had talked about that in the chat before, whatever circumstances going on with A.J. Brown. So that
he's got to go, though, right? He's got to go.
A.J. Brown?
Yeah.
You would trade him?
I just, to me, Havoc, I don't think he is. If I have a football team, he wouldn't play for me. As talented as he is an absolute cancer.
Yeah, a little bit.
I truly think he is. Like, it is so unfortunate because of how talented he is. But think about it. With the Titans, cancer and a catastrophic ending. And now with the Eagles, we talked about all the drama. I think you get rid of him. You just cut ties. Why do you even need him?
Why do you need him? They got to need somebody because
pick somebody up in the draft. But that's what I'm saying. I just truly don't think. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Devontae Smith, to me, he's got to be one of the best wide receivers in the game. This guy is so unbelievable. Like, when I watch him play, y'all, I don't care he came from Alabama. I hate giving him credit. Don't get me wrong. But this man is unbelievable. He's one of my favorite players. Like,
he's good, but he don't come across as he don't necessarily feel like a one to me.
Yeah,
he's light in the pants.
If you didn't get him, if they didn't have him this weekend, they don't even score a point. Right. This man went off. Like, he did everything he could. I mean, I'm a fan of him, honestly.
He reminds me of a Steve Smith Jr.
He's such an unbelievable route runner.
Yeah, and that's how Steve Smith was. But Steve Smith was he was like grimy, you know what I mean? And I don't see that from Smith. But I do agree with you. I think he is a great receiver. I just don't know if it would be enough for the Eagles. They're gonna have to pick up something else to complement him. What you got on this, Price?
Well, I'm disappointed in the Eagles. The reason why I'm disappointed in them is y'all didn't even want to tackle nobody. That might have been the worst tackling performance I've seen in a while out of a team that's got a defense like that. You can expect that out of a cupcake defense, but y'all got some real dogs on the defense and played like pups. So I'm just like disappointed in the Eagles. And as far as the coach goes, he had to go back to calling plays. Okay, even though he went back to calling plays, you still have to be the head coach, which means you still have to control the entire team. An offensive coordinator can sit and draw up plays while he's on the toilet because that's all he's thinking about. As a head coach, you can't do that. So I look at it as what he did was he was successful in what he was doing for them first 10, 11 games. But what he didn't realize is due to the fact you're not on the toilet drawing up plays, now you're predictable because that's what you're used to. You don't have anything else to go to. You're not over there with a whiteboard drawing them up in the dirt. We know what you're going to run because that's what you've been running. Now it's all about who can really stop it. And that's exactly what they done. Not only that, the 49ers and the Cowboys gave the rest of the league a blueprint at the end of the season on how to stop them. And that's all they did was take that game plan, put it towards the Eagles, and they beat them. And as far as Faker Mayfield, that was the best performance he had since he won the Heisman at Oklahoma. Don't see him doing it again. But I was impressed with him for the first time, and I picked against him. And that was the one game that I can say that I lost, and I did not mind losing it because the Eagles didn't give it away as much as it was Baker Mayfield played above his game level.
Man, that's a great point. That's a great point, Coach. And one thing I want to say about this, too, is that Baker Mayfield has his team behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to say how he's playing. Okay, that's about his physical talents. But another thing is he is the leader of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield has them boys playing excellent football. Now, we say that the Eagles have a great defense, and we did see that last year. But if I'm not mistaken, for that last little 5, 6, 7 weeks, they were number 32 in the league with allowed points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need DBs, Barry. The Eagles need to draft DBs first 3 rounds.
Yeah, but that team is too good to put on a performance like they did. That's just not going to get it done. Let's talk about a guy who did get it done. I have said it once. I have said it twice. I'm going to say it again. This is the leanest, meanest machine at quarterback in the football league. Hands down. He is, like I said, Ben Roethlisberger meets Mahomes. This is the baby. If them two had a child, this would be their son right here. Now, I think he got away with a little cheating on that run because he paused like he was going to lean back and they let off of him, and then he just went. I think some of those guys thought he was giving himself up, but that's neither here nor there. But what I will say is he was a man amongst boys during this game. You know, I thought it was going to be more of cooking, but my God. Hey, if this guy plays like this next week, somebody in trouble. And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't turn the ball over. I can't remember a turnover during this game. Dalton, Josh Allen, helped them Bills melt the steel. Were you impressed?
I'm always impressed with Josh Allen. I really think he is one of those quarterbacks. We talk about Tom Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, Manning. When they play, it's must see TV. Mahomes, he's one of those guys. Um, I think all of America tuned in on Saturday or Sunday night, whatever night it was, to watch that game, and or it might have been Monday night. I can't remember what it was postponed or whatever. But anyway, the Bills are for real, and this team, don't be shocked. Not only if they blow out the Chiefs next week, but if Josh Allen just dominates. The Chiefs don't have the best defense in the world. I think if that game would have been played in Miami, the Dolphins probably score at least 28. So don't be shocked. I mean, the Bills and Chiefs have already played this year. I think the Bills won the game. I think they're going to win it again. Allen's too good. And I don't think this game comes down to it like the games in the past where it's the last possession and then just somehow Mahomes gets the ball late to win it. It's not going to come down to that this year. I think the Bills' defense is going to be the real game changer. They're going to be the reason the Bills win easily. The Bills' offense are just going to do what they do.
Okay, I was checking that game. I don't know who. I thought the Chiefs. Yeah, they beat the Chiefs by 3 points. I think you need to. I think you need to slow down just a little bit. You might be riding a little bit too high. Talk about blowing out the Chiefs. Slow it down just a little bit. Have it help him out.
Well, for this game against the Steelers, Josh Allen was, untouchable. He had 4 touchdowns total, 1 rushing touchdown. All 3 of his touchdowns were to 3 different receivers. And guys, we all saw that long touchdown run. He juked homie silly at about halfway through the run. He did a little stutter step, and I thought it was Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen's almost 250 pounds. He's a big dude, and he's 6'5". For him to be doing stuff like that, shimmy shaking defenders, that was something else.
Yeah.
And this whole game was just a complete mismatch. And then you see him throw 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. And the guy I predicted in the preseason that would make an impact, Dalton Kincaid, their tight end, he's finally starting to come along. It took him a while, but sometimes with that position, rookie tight ends, it takes him a little bit. But he's finally looking comfortable. He's on the same page with Josh. But the bigger story to me here is you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what happens when you miss on a quarterback. They were forced to start a backup, Mason Rudolph, who all of us know, he's probably a nice guy, but Mason's a backup. Mason should not have been starting this game. If Mason Rudolph is starting a playoff game for you, you're in trouble.
and have it. I'm gonna go a little bit a step further. He's a backup to a backup. Cause listen, guys, we're gonna have to start giving the backups a little love, especially after this year. We've seen some backups play really well, but what I saw from Mason Rudolph, I almost want to turn the TV off. He was so bad, and I love football, but he was terrible. I can't deal with him, and he found a way to kind of stay in it a little bit, made a few throws or whatever. But oh my God, they're gonna have to do something fast. What you say, Coach?
Well, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on it. And I clearly remember this show that this group called the Chopping Block Podcast was doing. And the guy had a slide on there that says, does the Buffalo Bills have the playoffs in their stocking?
That's right.
And I said no. And not only did they have the playoffs in the stocking, they went out and dominated a playoff game. So the Buffalo Bills proved me wrong. And I got some close Buffalo Bill ties, as in I got autograph balls with Marv Levy and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed and Bryce Pop, Cornelius Bennett, Jim Kelly. I got all that because my best friend played 8 years in Buffalo. So of course I'm gonna catch it from him that I went against his squad. But at the same time, Buffalo was not impressing me throughout the football season, especially early.
Right.
So, what they did is exactly what I really call a professional football team. It doesn't matter what you do in the beginning. When you get to the playoffs, if you play a game and you look like a complete team, now you're dangerous. So where you could have easily written the Buffalo Bills off earlier in the season and they were going to make the playoffs to say they'll be a one and doneer, we didn't even think they were going to get there to come in a playoff game and watch them do what they did.
Right.
So right now, to me, Buffalo is a very dangerous playoff team. And not only that, they're a dangerous playoff team where Patrick Mahomes is going to play his first playoff game of his career on the road. I'd say the Buffalo Bills might be the team to watch.
Yeah, might is one of them words, that get you in trouble.
But on the flip side of it, that Steele has had a whole bunch of kryptonite coming out of Buffalo. Because I'm telling you right now, Mike Tomlin, boy, you might need to get with Bill Belichick and fight for that Atlanta job, because I don't see you in Pittsburgh. I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers in this situation, and I mean, I know this ain't even a slide, but I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers in this situation with the way y'all went out there and the way you played and the mistakes that you made, and George Pickens over there acting like a 4-year-old. It told me that Mike Tomlin has control of the media, but he don't have control of the locker room no more.
Well, Coach, it's like, I think he does, but I think you can't control all the players. Sometimes you're going to get something. It's just like kids. You can have 5 kids, and 4 of them be great, and 1 of them will be a hellion. Maybe he just need to get rid of him. But I do believe, remember, you talk about old slides. Remember the slide. Is it time to drop the mic? We also said, is it time to bail on the chick? All of those questions have come to fruition. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Mike Tomlin, but I will tell you this. All that talk about Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. Dude, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
They're not about winning season, they're about championships. Is that right, Happy?
Yeah, well, Barry, I did want to bring this up, though. You don't give Tomlin a pass for the Pickett after Roethlisberger? Because that's a big transition.
How many years has Roethlisberger been gone? 3 years?
This was the 3rd year without Ben.
Listen, man, really, honestly, I'm going to tell you like this, really not. Because here, you already knew. We talk about the years that Ben Roethlisberger have been gone. What about all of the years leading up to when he was an old man and you needed to start planning for it? That's part of being a coach. You got to reload. You got to keep that thing moving. This is Pittsburgh Steelers, man. I think Mike Tomlin dropped the ball there. And how do you even think in your mind that Pickett is the quarterback?
No, and what sucks is Mike Tomlin had a lot of say with Pickett, so that he's not doing himself a lot of favors. He really wanted Pickett.
And if you really wanted Pickett, to me, I'm just telling you about me. I can understand some of these GMs, man, because and coaches. Listen, I could have looked at Pickett from New Mexico and knew that wasn't it. How do you take him out of all of this talent that we see, and let's get this, out of all of the people in his conference, this is the AFC. How does Pickett match up against all them bars?
He's probably last or worse than the backup.
So he asking for, he want to get fired, But I will say this: he probably will command a job if he put himself on the market.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do believe that it's probably it's time to at least start having a conversation. Remember remember the slide? Is Stroud, how do we say that? Is Stroud just in the clouds, or is he about to rain? That question's been answered, fellas.
Yeah.
That question's been answered. I don't care where you want to put him in the ranking. I have him probably right now. I have Stroud in my quarterbacks in the NFL. I got him at number 4. I got him at number 4 in the top quarterbacks in the NFL right now for me. And I'll tell you them real quick. Mahomes, Allen, and then Lamar, and then Stroud. We can talk about that later, but that's why I say this dude right here is rolling. He beat a good Brown team. Now, Flacco, he got sent back to retirement, right? And we asked that question last week, and Stroud put him back. Man, those Houston Texans are playing outstanding football, man. I think the Ravens need to be a little concerned this upcoming week. But about this Browns team, Coach, what happened to the Browns?
Well, Joe Flacco proved why he, in his career, was a great regular season quarterback, but he wasn't the best quarterback in the playoffs. He usually folded 10 in the playoffs. If you even think about when they won the Super Bowl, was Joe Flacco wasn't even there, was he?
What, with the Ravens? Yeah, he went that playoff run. He threw 11 touchdowns and 0 picks. So he had a great run. Yeah, when they won the Super Bowl.
And that was the last thing that we heard out of Joe Flacco. Right. And it was like after that, everything about him went downhill. So, when he came in, Browns picked him up. First thing I said was, there's no way the Browns is going to win with Joe Flacco. I'll go get Colin Kaepernick before I would get Joe Flacco. Just because if we lost, at least we knew we had somebody that the world would agree with us blaming it on.
Right.
But
that's funny.
CJ Stroud, he really proved, this is what CJ Stroud proved to me, and I'll let it rest. CJ Stroud proved to me that I was right when I told everyone when we played Ohio State in the semifinals that was the only quarterback in college football that scared me. Bryce Young didn't scare me, but that was the only quarterback that scared me. Ryan Day, I give all the credit to for it. You really had him NFL ready.
Woo. Yes, sir.
And he went into the league and he played football to show that he was really NFL ready, because the poise that the guy is playing with is no different than when he was at Ohio State. If you watch his whole demeanor on the field, it's no different than what it was in college. If you look at some of these quarterbacks that come out of college, you can see it in their eyes. We're in the huddle. I'm calling the play because the play is being called in my helmet, but I don't know who I'm gonna go to. Whereas Stroud called the play in the huddle, and it was like, I'm gonna burn this cat because I already know I can burn this cat. And if you watch how smart he is, he literally switches up the coverage, because he'll take this receiver that's over here, he'll bring him across. If the defense don't move and your top corner don't go with him, It doesn't matter if you're in man. It doesn't matter if you're in zone. He already know this is the mismatch to everything that y'all got out there. Okay, if he switches him across over here and that corner switches with him, then he knows to take his receiver, put him in motion, and then run a rub route off of him. And then he'll burn you deep because y'all still trying to cover the guy that went in motion because your number one corner is on it. So Ryan Day, like I said, my hat goes off to you because this kid is the true meaning of I study film.
And coach, you said it. He looked like he is NFL. I mean, we can't say look like now. We know he was NFL ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm looking to see one more year out of Stroud to see if he don't slide, because sometimes when you coming in, you're proving yourself, and then that next year you might think you have arrived and you slide. So I'm hoping that Stroud keeps his same intensity. He almost plays like he got a chip on his shoulder. And I give Coach Ryan a lot of credit too, because he has them Texans looking righteous. What do you say, Havoc?
Well, what I'm about to say here might shock you guys. I'm not surprised at all what happened with CJ Stroud. He's been consistent all year. He's the clear-cut rookie of the year. And right now, obviously my mind might change before they play. But right now, I'm picking the Texans to beat the Ravens. And the reason I'm doing that is everything this kid's done, he's good enough to take his team to a Super Bowl. Now, am I saying that? No. I'm saying AFC Championship. We're not there yet. When we get there, I'll make a prediction, but we're not there yet. Now, here's the situation, though. CJ went into, for him, he's a great quarterback, great player, great talent. But he went into a great situation. DeMeco Ryan, he's proven that the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, Kyle Shanahan may choke in Super Bowls, but he can develop other coaches because his coaching tree has been flawless so far. Mike McDaniel, DeMeco Ryan, Sean McVay, that coaching tree from Kyle Shanahan is solid.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the ball, let me go over to one of your boys, Barry, and you're probably going to love this, Derek Stingley Jr., LSU defensive back, who, since he was drafted last year, has been the best defensive back in his class. He's been better than Sauce Gardner, and he completely took Amari Cooper out of the game. Amari Cooper had 4 catches for 59 yards. And guys, Amari Cooper had 2 games this year with over 200 receiving yards.
Lord.
He's no spring chicken. And Derek Stingley Jr. completely shut him down, and I don't think he's getting enough credit. He has been doing an amazing job of shutting down one side of the field. Obviously, DeMeco Ryans has something to do with that, with his game planning and his strategy. And then Will Anderson from Alabama. He's been doing a great job getting pressure. That whole team, the way they've drafted and developed young players, I mean, they're here to stay, barring injury. And Stroud, yeah, he definitely caused a brownout.
I love the way you just broke all of that down, Havoc. Dalton, what you got on CJ?
I'll tell you what, his performance was unbelievable. He looked like not only like he belonged there, but like he was the best one on the field that day. I think it all boils down to one thing. How far do they go? And I don't think that has anything to do with how good his rookie year is. This is one of the best rookie seasons I've ever seen. And to my knowledge, I don't think there's ever been a rookie quarterback go to the Super Bowl, right?
I don't think so.
No.
I have to look it up, but I'm not sure.
I know a second-year player has and won it, but a rookie has. I don't think a rookie, it depends on how you determine a rookie. Like Tom Brady was a rookie, first time playing and won a Super Bowl, but it was his second year on the team.
According to what I see online, it's never happened.
Nope. I was just about to say, if it did happen, it was leather helmets and no face mask.
Yeah, it said it's never happened, and then right up under it, it has something about C.J. Stroud. So people are watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves all the hype, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pulling for him. But the only thing is I'm pulling for Lamar more. I want this for Lamar. I want him to go to a Super Bowl, even if he loses a Super Bowl. I want him to go to a Super Bowl. Um, and I think this is time for Lamar to finally do something. Um, he needs a big game, and if Stroud has another big game, oh man, look out.
Yep. Hey, look, man, we're gonna get into these games soon, very soon. Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about Jared Goff. Now, we had a conversation about Baker Mayfield and his resurgence. I kind of feel the same way about Jared Goff. Now, I have always kind of looked at Jared Goff with a side eye. You know, you ain't really bought into him at all, but you just kind of keep an eye on him. That kid, I can't even call him a kid. This is a man. He is playing lights out football. And the Detroit Lions are playing some real complimentary football. I mean, this is the Detroit Lions, y'all. They're fun to watch. It's not just that boring team that's on at Thanksgiving. Okay? This team, look at the slide. I've been waiting my whole life for this. Literally. This guy brought to them, I can't remember the last time. Maybe one of you guys remember the last time that the Detroit Lions won 32 years? 32 years since they won a playoff game. So my question is this. We saw what happened in Philadelphia with one Nick Foles, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Jared Goff some kind of way get his team into the Super Bowl and win it, don't you have to build a statue?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have to build Jared Goff a statue? Have it. Talk to me.
If he wins a Super Bowl, you'd have to build him a statue. I mean, I think so. But it'd be tough because you'd have to debate the Dan Campbell, because you could argue Dan Campbell's responsible for Jared Goff. Dan Campbell's done most of the work there. Obviously, he didn't draft the players. He's not the one playing on the field, but Dan Campbell's been the one game planning. He's been the one that changed the culture. Guys, the Lions were hapless before Dan Campbell got there. They were going nowhere. And then even his first couple years, people were calling for his head. Last year, they started 1-7 and then turned it around. And people were calling for his head. I'm like, no, be patient. The guy knows what he's doing. He inherited a young team. He's building the culture. And luckily, the Lions were patient, and it paid off because Dan Campbell and then another guy, people are talking about him as a head coaching candidate, offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. He's been great with Jared Goff. And this is a top 5 offense. He knows how to utilize all his weapons. I know I rambled there, but yeah, you would still build Goff a statue if he won a Super Bowl. Absolutely. I just had to give credit to the rest of the team too.
No. I'm glad you executed the way that you did, because that's why I began this with the complimentary football. You know, everywhere around this team, they're just playing great. And I'm going to go on record to say that I laughed at these guys. I pretty much said that they were the cowardly Lions, you know. But these guys they've won me over in terms of believing. I believe in Jared Goff. Now I don't know. I can't recall. We watch so much football. I can't recall all of the teams or the strongest defense that he's played. But all I know, man, this was the best football game, maybe the best football game of the week that I can think of right now was this game right here. Coach, build a statue or not?
Why wouldn't you? But Jared Goff did one thing. He proved to me that This is what happens when you get your feelings hurt and you get kicked out of where you were at. Because when he was traded away from the Rams, he was at the lowest of the low. I'm finna be a career backup. And he came out and he started out with Detroit that way. And then Matthew Stafford went on to win a Super Bowl like, I'm glad to be out of there since you didn't want me. But Jared Goff was like, wow, y'all really didn't want me. And he had a pity party for himself. But then he got a head coach to come in. And it was just like the Lion King. Even though Simba came back and he grew up, it was still the Mufasa effect.
Yeah.
So, like Whoopi Goldberg said in the movie, say it again, Mufasa. Ooh. So Jared Goff is doing exactly what Baker Mayfield is doing, exactly what Tom Brady did. You went into a season with a team that you thought cared about you, or without a team that you thought cared about you, to a new team. Now, you got to also put this in perspective. You left the Rams, who was on the verge of winning a Super Bowl, and Matthew Stafford came in, and they traded you to a team that hadn't made the playoffs and won a game in 32 years. That's saying right then and there, dude, you ain't worth it.
Right. Right.
So what Jared Goff done, I could say, yeah. And when you build a statue for him, if they happen to go on and win a Super Bowl, you make sure it's right beside Barry Sanders.
There you go. There you go. That's Barry Sanders is one of the best to ever do it. But when you take a team and you pull them out of the grave like they did, I have to believe that Dalton agree with this.
Let me say this, no doubt. If Jared Goff wins a Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions, number one, you burn the city down in Detroit and you just start all over again. Because you know what? Let's be honest, it's not the nicest place on earth. So burn it down, Sodom and Gomorrah style. Start from scratch this time. And the first thing you build is a Jared Goff statue.
Okay.
And like Coach said, right beside the Barry Sanders statue. I think this team is more about of a team thing and a Dan Campbell thing. But Jared Goff has turned his career around. I agree. After the trade, I thought it was over. I thought he was going to, fail in Detroit the next 3 years and then boom, he's out of the league. He's proven that in my opinion, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, facts.
I'm proud of the Detroit Lions. I think it's been a fun journey. I will say this: their opponent this week is another team that I've been very high on all year. And one season's got to go. And I'll be honest with you, I think it will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going home this weekend. The Detroit Lions are going to pick up a big one.
What a story, man. The NFL, to me, have given us great stories this year. What's the likelihood of two quarterbacks like a Stafford? I said Stafford, but Goff and Baker coming together. It's like they're battling for their lives, man, for their NFL lives. And that's a beautiful story. This game should be in Detroit too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Detroit is on fire right now. What you got, Coach?
And you got to think about this. DeAndre Swift goes to the Eagles. They get booted out of the playoffs in the first round from Detroit. And they brought in a rookie from Alabama and they're in the second round. So somebody in that front office knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah, and they and like LL Cool J say, they doing it well. No love for them boys. And this is a sore spot. This is like pouring salt down deep into Havoc's wound. I hate to do you like this, brother. But y'all told me you were bragging on him. Number 10, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers' replacement, Mr. Jordan Love. And guess what? He had no love for them boys. Talk to me, Havoc.
This game was tough to watch because I'm one of Jordan Love's biggest fans. I was the first one to say on this show that he was the most impressive first-year starter, young quarterback. And then for him to come in to our home stadium and just shred us and pick us apart was really tough to watch. And then I don't want to drop the mic, but Mike McCarthy went back to being mediocre Mike in the playoff game. And Dak Prescott, once again, when you look at his stats, they look great on paper, but they were all empty calorie stats. Dak Prescott didn't show up till the game was over. Then he started completing passes to wide open receivers after Green Bay knew the game was decided and had their backups in. So Jordan Love had no love for my boys, but my boys didn't have any love for themselves with the way we played. And Dak Prescott, man, bro, can we talk about a more frustrating quarterback? And I mean, this is my team, so I'm more frustrated than anyone because I know firsthand what Dak Prescott does, and it's very similar to what Tua does. Although
Bingo.
he's a little taller than Tua and he's got a better arm. It might look better, but it's very similar to what Tua does, albeit Dak makes $50 million a year and Tua is still on his rookie contract. So that's the major difference.
Have it. Mike McCarthy, you say you don't want to drop him?
I know it looks bad with the loss, but the way Dak played the best football he's played his whole career this year with Mike, I just think based on what Jerry Jones has been saying, and Jerry Jones thinks Dak Prescott's a Super Bowl quarterback. It's on record. He said it multiple times. Jerry believes we can win a Super Bowl with Dak. And if you believe that, you have to keep Mike McCarthy.
Well, you can't say that Dak is not a Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, Barry, but he really believes it. He sees Dak as like one of his sons. You know how Jerry Jones is. He builds a close bond with these players. He sees Dak as one of his sons.
Hey, you know what? I love, believe it or not, I know a lot of people. It's two people I love that are very controversial. When I say love, I you know that bromance, right? And y'all gonna kill me for this. But one of them is Jerry Jones. And the other one is Skip Bayless. Hey, both of them to me, they're great at what they do. And I do think that Jerry has a great heart, you know, for his team, you know, but for me, man, if I get Tua to smoke, I'm gonna get Dak to smoke. Dak is about to ask for some more money. He don't deserve no more money.
No.
Dak does not deserve any more money. I would not pay that. If in fact, this might be the best time to trade that. Let him leave on a high note and send him on packing and find something else. Coach nodding his head. What you got?
I'm gonna tell you what I got in my head, Barry. I can look at this slide with no cap. And what I would say if I looked at this slide is I'm seeing Mike McCarthy saying, yeah, that's what Jerry told me. And Dak got his hands like, but hold on, wait a minute, I'm Dak Prescott. Where Jordan Love said, your boy up here, listen. That's the reason why he brought in Trey Lance.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So that's what I see in that whole slide because Dak, trade value. And you brought in Trey Lance and you just got beat by a younger. So I look at Jerry Jones is slick as vegetable oil. He'll tell you one thing, man, and then he gonna fry you.
Yes, I love that line. That's a bar, coach.
That's what he is. Grease ain't nothing till it gets hot.
That's right.
And if you can't tell me that man ain't hot right now because of what happened with that team, you're dead wrong. And Dak, you are nothing but trade value because you got to think about it. How many teams right now in the league need a quarterback and probably going to try and draft a quarterback? How
Yeah.
many teams in the league right now are searching for a head coach who don't want to have to go through, oh man, I got to do this with a rookie or Pickett
You know,
when you can get Dak?
Mike McCarthy has 3 12 win seasons. Okay. That's his record. That's a lot of wins. You know, the margin, it's very small, guys. And it's crazy to think this, but you go into the next year, you don't make the playoffs or you're one and done again. Even if you win, get to the divisional round and lose, it's not good enough at this time. It's fool's gold. To me, it's time to let that ride, man. What you got, Dalton?
I think this is one of those situations where I'm the most tied. Because here's the thing, guys. If we talk highly about Justin Fields, and say, hey, if we put him on another team, what could he do? This and that. Let's be honest. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys receivers. Can you name one quickly? Besides
CeeDee Lamb
and Michael Gallup.
Besides CeeDee Lamb, we know CeeDee's there, but anybody besides Havoc, can you name, realistically?
No.
I mean, you really can't. So, my thing is, you can't. So, I'm kind of tight on the situation because I do think Dak Prescott is a good NFL quarterback. He's proven that. He's pretty good. He's consistent. But something, and I don't even think all of this loss is on him. The defense got shredded.
Oh, yeah.
And this was supposed to be the best defense Dallas has had in years, arguably in the best in the NFL. Jordan Love, and not only Jordan Love, but the offensive coordinator for the Packers, they carved them up like a Halloween pumpkin. And I think that's the difference more so than Dak or whatever. I mean, think about it, guys. When you're down 20-plus points, your game plan, goes out the window. So I think it was a bad recipe, and he did have a lot of padded stats. One of the analysts was raving about his performance. I'm like, dude, you're literally going off of stats. You didn't watch the game.
Right.
So, that's the thing with Dak. If you put him on another team, I honestly think you're going to get the same Dak.
Right.
Well, if that's the case, there's one thing that I say: if you put him on another team and you're going to get the same Dak, there's one thing that I want him to do, and that is, ready, here we go. Of his candidates.
Look, man, listen, Dalton. I'm gonna push back on you a little bit about your Justin Fields comment, and here's why. Justin Fields don't make $50 million a year.
No, I agree, but what I'm saying is, I think both of them should be held to a high standard, like the same. I think they're both very talented. I don't think one should be looked at differently, but I do agree the money is what sets Dak apart. It's like when you're wanting to get paid that much money to be, think about it. Think of the quarterbacks that are ahead of Dak Prescott in the NFL playoffs right now. Jared Goff, C.J. Stroud,
Jordan
Baker
Love,
Mayfield,
Jordan Love.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you mean to tell me you're not getting above these guys, but you want to get paid way more?
They already getting paid.
Yeah.
Hey, think about this. Brock Purdy, he's getting paid more than all of them combined.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, if I am the Dallas Cowboys, I say this guy's going to keep milking us to the end, and we're not going to be able to get any talent around him. Jerry, take your money and go home. and say, Dak, wherever you're from, you can go back to, or you can be an NFL quarterback somewhere else, but it ain't going to be here in Dallas. And
Minnesota.
That's what I would say,
yeah,
and I would say
I really think he would make sense in a lot of places, but Dallas is not one of them if he won't take the pay cut. He's not good enough.
I just think Dak is a nice guy. I really do. He says all the right things. Outfield, I'm assuming he does all the right things. But dude, that ceiling looks like it's made out of concrete.
Bro, but we'll be playing with Trey Lance then. That's whew.
You can make
Unless
some
you know
moves.
his sleep number.
You can make some moves, man. There's a lot of things happening in the NFL right now. You can make some moves, man. But I'm just saying, I don't think they got another. I don't think they have, but maybe another year to play that game, man.
Listen, that ceiling ain't made out of concrete. That ceiling is made out of sheetrock from Lindale, Georgia, and it's getting ready to cave on his ass.
Facts. Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about the most dangerous coach that is in these playoffs right now. And basically when I built this slide, I was thinking like if you had to go and face one of these guys next week, which one would give you most pause? Which one would you not want to face? And I'm gonna start with you, Havoc, on this one. What you got?
Man, you might be surprised, but I wouldn't want to face Matt LaFleur, the Packers coach. The plays he calls and the way he uses Jordan Love and those young receivers, Aaron Jones. And remember what I said about the Sean McVay coaching tree. This is another guy from the Sean McVay coaching tree.
Good gracious.
Matt LaFleur. So he's splurting out coaches like Antonio Cromartie splurts out kids. But that's my most dangerous coach is definitely Matt LaFleur. Guys, look at what he's done with Jordan Love this year. I mean, if anyone thought Jordan Love was going to throw 32 touchdown passes before the season started, I'll wait. Exactly. Yeah, Jordan Love is overachieved, and this coach is a huge reason why. And the way he utilizes the young talent, like I said, Aaron Jones, he's already broken he's tied for the Packers rushing record for playoff games. Aaron Jones.
Wow, the way you talking about that coaching tree, it makes me think: is that one of the best, if not the best, of all time? But you got them older guys that might be better than these younger guys in terms of longevity and their records. But these guys are looking good. Price, who are you afraid to face?
Well, I'm looking at a whole bunch of dangerous coaches. But if I know that I'm finna play second round of the NFL playoffs, the guy that I'm most afraid of, that one sitting up there with that red and yellow hat. I would be afraid of Mr. Andy Reid. And the reason why is because we're talking seasoned vet of the playoffs, which means this man, he knows how to make the ball fall on his side. Now, true enough, he's got Patrick Mahomes, he's got Travis Kelce, he's got Pacheco, he's got Rice,
And don't forget Taylor Swift.
and Taylor Swift. But to me, when it just comes down to the X's and O's, being able to get your team motivated, getting your team prepared, making sure we're all on the same schedule, making sure we're all on the same page, there is nobody on that list that's used to that and been in this situation more than Andy Reid. Even at Philadelphia, Andy Reid had the Eagles always there. Go to Kansas City. Now, at the time he goes to Kansas City, who in the room had belief that the Kansas City would win back-to-back Super Bowls?
Yeah, I did.
He couldn't do it in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes you think he'll do that in Kansas City? That's like the juice in the bottom of the dumpster at the time.
Mm.
But look what he did to that organization. So to me, Andy Reid is the most dangerous coach at this time of the year in the playoffs to me, just because the other guys really aren't as proven as Andy Reid. But if one coach actually scared me the most as far as being dangerous, and this was not a playoff game, it would be Detroit Lions coach. Because what he's got that team doing is second to none. But the only thing is how far can he take his run? We already know what Andy can do, and I'm telling you, don't sleep on Andy Reid.
And I'm gonna tell you that I don't agree with both of those. Uh, for the same reasons, I love Andy Reid. I love Andy Reid more than I love Patrick Mahomes. I remember
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid in Philly. He got that same look on his face. He's just a man that comes to work.
Mm-hmm.
He's so fair, so motivational. But I wanted to touch on Dan Campbell. Um, he's a man's man. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's no doubt about it. There's no way around it, guys. He is a beast, and he has that team believing. This is a great story, man, and it would not hurt me if Dan Campbell and his team, the Detroit Lions, hoisted Lombardi. It would not hurt me at all because the passion that they're playing with, and I believe they've gotten some tough breaks too, man. I think they've had some things that happen to them that they got a chip on their shoulders, man. I'm just gonna tell you, Detroit. If I was Tampa Bay, I probably wouldn't even go to Detroit
Mm-hmm.
Saturday whenever they play that game because I think they're gonna run into a buzzsaw. I really do, and primarily it's because of Dan Campbell, just the way that he. I mean, it's almost like he's coaching for his life. That's what
Mm-hmm.
it feels like. You know what I mean? And I love that about him. For me, it probably would be Dan Campbell. What say you, Dalton?
Well, I definitely agree with both of y'all, but or all three of y'all. But I think one guy that we're forgetting that comes from a great coaching tree. I mean, if you look, I'm not sure who was above Bruce Arians, but Bruce Arians was a great coach, and he handpicked, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach. I can't remember his full name, like his last name.
Bowles.
Todd, yeah,
Bowles.
Todd Bowles, and man, I think Todd Bowles is a genius. Um, and honestly, I love how he's so calm and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
he, in this press conference I saw, this woman asked him, "Oh my God, how unbelievable this question was. Are you worried about the elements playing in Detroit? It's supposed to be 10 degrees." And he's like, "You do realize we're playing in a dome, right? It's indoor." And it's like the way he said it was just so like me. I would have tried to make a fool out of him, but he was just so calm. He's like, "You do realize we're playing indoors, right? Like it's in a dome." And I just like his demeanor. I think he lets the guys go out there and play and be themselves. And they have a lot of natural leaders on that team. Baker Mayfield, whether you hate him or you like him, he is a natural leader.
Yes.
And that team really, really likes him. They play for him. The receivers know that, hey, this guy will just. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw the mic'd up version about the throw to Godwin. He knew the blitz was coming, all out blitz. He knew it. He even said, "Hey, so and so's coming. Look out." And he just throws it up. He knew he'd catch it. And the defensive backs got to play these guys so tight that if they let up, I mean, it takes them a while to stop. They're having to run so fast. So all those back shoulder throws, they worked all night. I mean, that was just beautiful from Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers. But like I said, it will end this weekend. He is the most dangerous coach, but I just think that Dan Campbell, what he's doing and what the Lions are fighting for is something a little bit different.
Mm, that's just an excellent way to put it. Guys, let's end tonight. It looks like we're right on schedule. We're gonna talk about our games of the week. And I'm gonna start with you, Havoc. I don't see any Jags and I don't see any Cowboys, so I guess you're gonna be a bit unpredictable by default tonight. What you got?
Man, I'm a little torn with my game of the week. I like the Packers and Niners and the Texans and Ravens, but I got to go with the Texans and Ravens. Guys, this may be a little premature, and sometimes premature things aren't what we want, but there is a reason to make predictions. And I'm going to say on record tonight, CJ Stroud's going to go into Baltimore, and he's going to lead the Houston Texans to victory over the Baltimore Ravens, and we're all going to witness it.
Ooh. You know what, man? It's taking everything in me to pick those Texans, man, because I love them. Trust me, I love them. But Lamar, they have been sitting back just saying, oh, I see what you're trying to do. I know what you want to do. You want to come up in here and knock me off the throne. Lamar Jackson is going to be fit to be tied during that game. I'm trying to tell you, he's going to be lit. But I can't go against what you're saying. But Lamar Jackson is going to show he's going to be on fire. Hey, man, it's really all of these games are going to be great. We see what's happening, man. But it's the tale of the Giants. It's the tale of the Giants. Come on, guys. Patrick Mahomes up against Josh Allen. Patrick on the road for the first time. Going into Buffalo. Allen has never beat Mahomes in the playoffs. 0-2 against Mahomes. In the cold for all the marbles. This is the game because the Chiefs have been limping all year long. And everybody had counted them out, with the exception of one beats the game. You have to knock the king out. If you don't knock them out, they'll rain on you. And this is what's going to happen. You talking about the Bucs season ending? The Bills season ends. Another AFC championship appearance by the baby goat. We give Tom his due. But guys, I'm telling you, I really don't know what's going to happen during this game, but I think it's going to be something special for the ages. But I'm going to go with them Chiefs. What you got, Price?
Well, when I look at the NFC, it's a lot of history between Green Bay and San Francisco. So when you say game of the week, just the history that those two teams carry playing each other at this time of the year, it weighs heavy. Then I jump over across from them and I say Tampa Bay and Detroit. You know, the last time Detroit won a playoff game was when they beat Tampa Bay last game of the season when Tampa Bay had the orange uniforms. So then I jump up to the AFC and I say, boy, what that rookie is doing right now is unbelievable. And what he's done so far, if the season ended for him right now, he still gets a round of applause, standing ovation.
Right.
You hit on it with Kansas City and Buffalo. This is the juggernaut. So if you was looking at this as a fight card, Kansas City and Buffalo is the heavyweight match. Everybody else is the undercard match. So the game of the week is that one because, like you said, you got the two biggest uprising superstars going against each other for the third time, with one of them being on the road for the first time. And we already know that when Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes both get on the field together, it doesn't matter if you scored and there's 46 seconds left in the game and we got to go 85 yards. we can go 85 yards. And it's not because you're trash, it's because we're making plays. And then you got that guy that I just talked about in the slide before when I said season vetted playoffs. Watch when Andy Reid uses timeouts. They're not early. He used them early. They burned them early in the first half when they just didn't get the play in on time. But if you ever watch the Kansas City Chiefs play, within 2 minutes of a ball game, he still got all three.
Yeah.
And if you don't have all three, he burned one before the 2-minute warning for you to punt it to give him the ball back. So he still got what? 3.
Period.
So Andy Reid, that's the reason why I said he's the most dangerous coach. It's not about your play calling. It's about your game management. And nobody manages a fourth quarter better than Andy Reid.
I'm talking about, priceless. What's up, Dalton?
Game of the week. First off, let's just say this. The AFC is the best conference in all of football, and it has been since probably 2000. This is just unreal what we have in the semis here. Newcomer C.J. Stroud and the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, both teams got a lot of things to prove. And honestly, the loser of this game is going to be very disappointed for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it's the playoffs, but because they knew they could do more. So same thing with this next game, Chiefs and Bills. It's tell the tape. It seems for the last 3 years at least, you would expect these teams to play in the playoffs. This time it's different. On the road, Patrick Mahomes, can he do it? I'll be honest. I don't think he is. I think Josh Allen, this is the one time he's got it right where he wants it, and he's going to get it done in Buffalo. But also the NFC, I think the least – I don't know what y'all think, but don't it seem like the least I don't know how to say it, but the game I'm least, excited for would be the Packers and 49ers. And I don't know why. Is that weird? I can't tell you why, but I'm just not very excited for that game.
Because you probably don't have a story to attach to it. But let me say this. Was it not these two teams that the last time that Aaron Rodgers was on the Green Bay, the NFC Championship game, when it ended right there at the end, and Aaron should have ran the ball in, and he would have won the game for Green Bay and would have went to the Super Bowl. Is that not right? And now imagine the guy that they drafted has this opportunity to go back against the same team, not in the NFC Championship game, but for a trip to that game. This would be one of those things to where the power dynamic shifts and it's no longer Aaron's team, it becomes Jordan Love's team. Okay? Because even though he's played well, I don't know if you can say it's his team yet, even though it is. You still have the spirit of Aaron Rodgers lurking. So I look at it from that standpoint. Jordan Love can take his role and put his face right on top of that G if he can go in there and knock off what we still have to consider maybe the best roster in football. That's why I find that game a little bit interesting. You finished, Dalton?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the game is interesting. I just don't know why I'm interested in all the other ones more.
Which is your biggest one?
What is my biggest one? You know what? I'm gonna pick the easy one here. Chiefs and Bills. I'm so excited for that one. I can't wait.
I know you want to see Patrick Mahomes go down, but you might have to wait another year. Hey, fellas, man, listen. This has been like an incredible show. I mean, it just feels like we covered it all in so many different angles. And I'm super excited to see what happens for us, for the rest of the season, and then as we move into our possibly our off season with the drafting and looking at these teams and coming up with many ways that we can look at what can happen in the off season. A lot of things going on right now, right? With all the stuff that's happening in college football, Dalton. With Nick Saban leaving and the NIL and the portal, and like I said, we got the draft coming up. In my lifetime, this might have been the most exciting year of football in a long time, guys. It's just been like incredible. Dalton, take us out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this has been a super fun season. And I think it's been fun because we've also been covering it for the first time, in let's say totality. I mean, we have covered it in and out, and a lot of us had a lot of great predictions that came true. But you talked about a college show. We're going to try to get a college show this week. I'm going to shoot for tomorrow, Friday, or Saturday. There is a lot that needs to be discussed with this NIL. And who knows, the college football show might be private invite. So if you're watching here on the college football or the NFL show on the Chop and Block podcast, you want to be a part of it, let us know. And maybe we can get you in the right direction. But that is it for the NFL show hosted by Beast of Kane. This has been the Chop and Block podcast. Join us when you see that red button.
Yeah, we about to do it. Watch us get into it. We some lumberjacks, and we needing wood. Yeah, we going for the sweet.